We're live. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Renegade Roundtable podcast here. I'm Jeff Kirby. Of course, each and every week, we're joined by the man, the myth, the legend himself, none other than Jared. Jared, how in the hell are you?
All right. Another day. Steelers lost, but it is what it is. But trip's coming up very soon. Kirby leaves a week from today.
Less than a week officially.
Less than a week. 2 weeks I'll be in Pittsburgh for the Jets game. Other than that, I'm feeling okay. It's another day. That's pretty much it. I'm ready for this week's game.
Yeah, my bad. I'm sending it out to a couple people to maybe get them in here in the comments. Whether you are watching on YouTube, whether you're watching on X, make sure to drop your comments down below. We will be watching comments. We'll try to get to every comment. We'll get them out all on the screen. And in the meantime, it's been a stressful week for me. It's been a long week for me so far. There's a reason why I'm outside and not my normal thing. We might as well have a little bit of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a little bit of a cigar left. We might as well smoke on the Steelers pack that the Colts are still smoking on.
Heartbreaking.
Yeah, you want to talk about heartbreaking, emotional roller coaster ride. That was every emotion imaginable because you start out so slow. And here's the thing too is they talked about early on in the week talking about wanting to start quicker, get the offense going quicker, blase. And to start out the way you did on both sides of the ball, it's not just the offense, the defense too. The defense had been balling out like crazy over the first 3 weeks, and then to come out the way that you did to start that game, you put yourself in a quick 14-0 deficit. That's just simply, you can't do that in the NFL if you want to have some success in any success in the NFL.
Very shocking how the defense really started out. Was not expecting that. This game I wasn't really watching. I was still in the middle of working, so I was listening over the phone in the vehicle. But then watching the highlights is just the way that Justin Fields came back with the offense to, losing a 3-point game at the end if I don't remember the score correctly. But the defense,
yes, I want to say it was 20. What was it?
27-24 was the score. But it shows if the offense lighting up in the second half, you just got to start sooner. It just has to start sooner. Then the defense is the mostly disappointing thing that happened this week. Personally, the defense got shredded. They could not stop Joe Flacco.
Well, let me say this. Let me say something about that.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing that they started to do that pissed me off. There's a difference kind of defense that you have to play. Now, to some, you might say, well, obviously, different quarterbacks, blase. There's a different, the defense that you're going to go up against Anthony Richardson versus the defense you're going to have to play against Joe Flacco, you have to switch it up because you can maybe get away with playing a little bit of zone coverage against Anthony Richardson because you could try to confuse him a little bit, blah, blah, and you could maybe bait him into making a mistake. Joe Flacco, he's been in the league way too long. He knows the Steelers way too well.
Mm-hmm.
You can't play zone coverage like that against a guy like Joe Flacco. Nope. And because he's going to do what he did. He's going to pick you apart. Veteran quarterbacks like that pick zone coverage apart like it's nothing.
Mm-hmm.
They do it in their sleep. So that was the one thing that really irritated me throughout that game was the fact that the lack of adjustments it felt like in terms of that. The one other thing that pissed me off on the defense was TJ Watt was out on a milk carton. He was practically MIA.
Mm-hmm. He was.
And clearly, we see what happens when TJ Watt becomes MIA.
Yep.
It was simply not overall. Yeah, the defense overall was very irritating. Offensively, they couldn't get the run game going to save their life. The guy that was being a little bit of a spark for him was Cordell Patterson, and
Yep.
he ended up getting hurt.
Yep.
So Najee Harris couldn't do a damn thing. You were already without Jalen Warren, and so the only other running back that you had was someone that you just elevated from the practice squad. So it was an overall mess, and especially if you're a team that's wanting to be a run first team, if you can't run the ball, well, clearly.
Oh yeah, it was not good overall. But the bright spot out of all this, don't take many bright spots, was Fields getting back in this game. I think was a big thing overall watching that. To almost basically the Steelers, you had a chance to win it. If the fumble snap didn't happen, that loss, if that didn't happen, you believe Justin Fields will drive down the field to tie it, possibly, most likely, or get the game-winning touchdown.
Yeah, and the other thing too, again with this offense, the offensive line, it takes yet another blow.
Yep.
James Daniels out for the year with an Achilles injury, and could very well potentially have played his final down as a Steeler. So now you have to deal with that again. Now, is there the chance that Isaac Seumalo could be coming back in the next week or so? You really, at this point, you are begging and pleading to have that happen.
He might come back this week.
And that's the thing. You're hoping that if he can't come back this week, that
it's good signs he practiced today fully.
Yes.
So I would hope so, because right now you're running with Spencer Anderson, and they signed another guy that they just signed that moved to the active roster. That's probably going to play if needed be. But yeah, we're hoping Seumalo's back this week. That's what I'm really hoping for. He plays this game Sunday night. But, the way he's been practicing this week, like I said, he was full today, participation. If he was full again tomorrow, I expect him to play Sunday. Then the right guard position, is it going to be McCormick? We'll go over there, or is it
Well, I mean, that's the other thing too, is McCormick has been playing a lot of left guard, and he came out of college as a right guard.
Yep.
So that makes me wonder, because he looks rough.
Yep.
He looked rough on Sunday. And so that makes me wonder, like, okay, what will he look like on the right side where he's played more? That's more of his natural position. How's he going to look there? It was, and that's the thing too, and we talked about that before, was the fact that when you have 4/5 of your offensive line at one point of time being either rookies or second-year players, you could look at this from two different ways. You could look at this from the right now standpoint and say, that's not great. You're not going to have great success. I'm sorry, because you have a 7th round pick out there last year in Spencer Anderson. You have a 4th round pick this year in Mason McCormick out there, your 2nd round pick, and then last year's 1st. So you have very young guys out there. But if you wanted to try and be glasses half full, and this is something that I try to do in this situation, is let me take away the narrow mindset of right now. Let's expand this a little bit. Let's just expand this to the future. Now, Troy Fautanu, when he comes back next year.
Yep.
You're hoping that you're going to have some where if you could get to a point where you have some more cohesion with most of your young guys, because now if you can go and what the Steelers have feels like what they've done the last couple of years is very similar to what the Dallas Cowboys did early in the mid 2000s or 2010s, where they went multiple years of drafting offensive line, and it got to the point where they were playing with each other for a couple of years, and they gained chemistry and they gained development, and they were able to play very well over the, for periods of years. that's something that I'm hoping that we could see in the future with the Steelers. You have Troy Fontanu. Now, Isaac Sambalu, I believe he will be on his last year of his deal because I believe he signed a 3-year deal last year. So the second year. So next year will be his last year. Then you'll have Zach Frazier. Then more than likely next year it's going to be Mason McCormick. And then hopefully Broderick Jones. So that's something, if you wanted to try and be a positive and look into the future, that's something that you could do also.
Oh, 100%. Investing in the O-line, it takes time to gel, as we all say, with the offensive line. Every position is different and unique in their own way. Like you said about Mr. McCormick, he plays right guard mostly, not the left. He's been rough because we need somebody on the left side. That's the most injured position right now. Well, Malu coming back, who's going to be the right guard is the question. That's the question coming up. Is it going to be Mason McCormick, or is it going to be this guy they brought up from the practice squad that they just signed, or Spencer Anderson? It's one of those three. I don't know who it is. I wish I have an answer to that.
Yeah, and it's gonna be interesting. Now you're going up against the Dallas Cowboys defense, run defensive wise, that is god awful.
No Michael Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence.
Have they already been ruled out?
They have been ruled out, yes.
Okay, so thank freaking God. And I can't wait for my friends who...
I'm 90% sure. I have to double check, but I'm pretty confident they've been ruled out.
I can't wait for my friends who are Browns fans, a.k.a. my boy Hunter, who will say, what's new? The Steelers got bailed out yet again. Yeah. Because that's what they'll do, even though suck it. That's why you guys lost to the Raiders, team that didn't have anyone good.
You mean they lost to the Raiders? Yeah, they did. I was going to say the Giants too.
Well, they lost to the Giants. Oh, listen, there is panic mode right now in that city. I listened to, and what's even funnier, real quick, is one of the hosts on the Cleveland radio, Ken Carman, guaranteed to win. Mm-hmm. What's funny? As far as I can remember, he's done that twice.
Yeah. He's
0-2.
The one thing you do is don't guarantee wins. There's no guaranteed wins in football at all. Anything could happen.
Unless you're the 2016 or 2017 Browns, then maybe.
Okay.
Actually, no, I can't say that because both games against those teams went down to the wire.
Yeah.
In 2017, that's when our offense was actually good.
Just like you said, you felt this past Colts game was a trap game, and look what happened. It came down to the, Joe Flacco torturing us basically. Anthony Richardson got hurt during the game, but Joe Flacco, like I said, diced us up pretty much that whole time. But shout out to Fields for at least keeping us in the game. Almost had the game-winning drive, but the snap infraction, unfortunate, or the snap, messed up snap, kind of ruined the momentum of the drive, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And I said this thing, only the Steelers would do that. Only them would do that on the game-winning drive, that potential game-winning drive. But other than that, Fields looked really good in my eyes. I think he looked I think that was probably his, I hate to say it, even though in the loss, one of his best game coming second half.
Mm-hmm. You look at his stats, 22 of 34 efficient, 312 yards passing touchdown, averaged 9.2 yards per pass or per catch. I mean, he had a rating of 104 with a QBR of 60.
And you know what? If the turnovers
on top of that, got 55 yards on the ground as well. Yep. So overall, he made a huge impact on the game too. He did. I mean, if you wanted to say he turned the ball over on the fumble, or on that, then yeah. But in terms of interceptions and all that, didn't do any of that. So
I got to talk about GP. With that little fumble, that was an easy 7 points if he just would have went out of bounds with it. I understand
I'm not even mad at that. I'm more mad at. Or are you talking about it on the final drive or the fumble?
Oh, the fumble.
The fumble pisses. What pisses me off about that is why are you holding the ball the way you are?
That was the one thing that was like, why is he doing like a basketball move type almost.
The corpse of Betty White could have knocked that ball out.
Like, oh my gosh, just go out of bounds with it. I know he wanted more. I get it. Trust me, I understand. Trying to make a big play whenever you get the ball, but just get the yards, run the next play. Because that was 7 points right there in my eyes. I'm sure in everyone's eyes. If
at minimum 3.
At minimum 3, of course, but missed opportunity. That's the game right there. That swing.
And then we talk about we talk about the final drive too. You had the fumble, and then right after that, them not getting out of bounds on the third down play.
Yep. That's another, mistakes. It just got to be better than this game on Sunday night. You're going against Dallas. Their defense is not good against the run as well.
At all. And they're going to be without their best player.
They're going to be without Micah and DeMarcus Lawrence, most likely. I'm like 90% confident that they're already been ruled out. Other than that, Fields keep doing your thing. Keep slinging it, taking it when you need to run. Keep throwing it to George Pickens or whoever else is open, or a new wide receiver too, hopefully down the line.
I'm gonna say this right now. So, like you mentioned, 10 days from now, I will be in Allegiant Stadium watching the Steelers play Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping that Devontae Adams is going to be in the building, but not for the Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
But let me say this.
What a storyline would that be?
I'm not letting myself get sucked into this storyline, because I already don't think he's going to end up a Steeler. He's going to end up a Jet, or he's going to end up a Saint, and I think more likely he's going to end up a Jet, because especially if you're someone like Robert Saleh, where your ass might be on the line this year, if you don't put out a great year this year, you might end up getting fired at the end of the year. So if you're Robert Saleh, you might be trying to push hard to say, get me Devontae Adams, because not only that, you get Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams. You know that they already have that chemistry. Mm-hmm. And on top of that, have him, opposite with Garrett Wilson.
Yep.
Which, by the way, I'm trying to remember.
Mm-hmm.
Where did Garrett Wilson come out of again?
Oh, my God. From Ohio State, that school in Ohio.
The Ohio State Buckeyes.
But it would be nice to have Devontae Adams on the team. Oh, of course. You saw what they're asking for. A 2 and something else.
Let me ask you this right now. And to anyone who's watching this, drop your comments down below. Would you, as of right now, give up a 2? And depending on who a player would be, or if you would give up like a 2 and a 4, would you give up either a 2 and a 4 or 2 and a player for Devontae Adams right now, knowing that there's zero guaranteed money right now? There's zero guaranteed money left.
Mm-hmm. Woo! Because we got to pay him, right? He's on his last year of his deal.
Is he on his last year? I thought he had
or a couple of years. I don't even know. That's why I'm asking. It's like, they're talking like they have to pay Devontae too, which is kind of.
I think it's more of like a restructure.
Oh, okay. One of those. Okay. I do a 2 and a 4. I'm going to be honest. Yes.
I'm confirming right now his contract.
Because 2 and a 4, a player, who would they want as a player? I'll give you Van Jefferson. Give you what do they want?
You have a potential out this year, but if not, you would have him for 2.5 years.
Oh, okay. Well, I still would trade for them. They need a wide receiver too. We really do need a wide receiver too. Unless Roman Wilson actually plays this. Roman Wilson didn't play this Sunday, right? I'm not.
Hold on. I'm gonna. He didn't. Okay. Here's what I'm gonna say about that. Even with Roman Wilson, if you can let Roman Wilson be turned into almost like a safety blanket, for Justin Fields, someone that could play over the middle, someone who could play in the slot, and let Devontae Adams and George Pickens. You can't double either.
Yep.
That's the thing. If you're the Steelers, if you want to really help Justin Fields grow, if you really want to see Justin Fields become the quarterback of the future,
Yep.
if you're Omar Khan, you got to try your absolute hardest to get him, because it would be so incredible to have two wide receivers that you have to worry about on top of Roman Wilson. Then you have Pat Freiermuth. Darnell Washington's becoming more of a piece in the passing game a little bit,
which is good.
Which is good. I mean, he only had, I think it was like 2 catches, but one catch that he had the stiff arm and then the hurdle.
Yep.
That's just a freak of a man. But I would love to see Devontae Adams. Of course we would.
Who wouldn't?
And my thing is, when I say, like, I feel like a lot of us are so used to saying, oh, we're not going to get him. That's just not the Steeler way, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, like, that thought has kind of gone away from me. Like, the Kevin Colbert thinking that we've been embedded.
It's gone.
Like, let's be honest. Practically my life and Jared's life as Steeler fans, we've only known the Kevin Colbert way.
Mm-hmm.
At least for me, that thought process is kind of starting to go away now.
Oh, I agree.
I'm not going to say, oh, we're not going to get him because that's just not a deal that we make. Mm-hmm. I just think overall, I think the Jets are a team, and people say, well, why would you want to go to the Saints? Well, you got to remember, he played with Derek Carr in college. Yep. He played Derek Carr his first year with the Raiders.
Yep.
And so he wants to play with a quarterback that he knows already. But we all know that the Raiders are going to be looking for the high, for the best offer, obviously. Of course they are. So I think at the end of the day he's going to end up a New York Jet.
I hope not.
And I hope not. And you know what? If he's going to leave, let him go to the Saints, because at least at that case he's in the NFC.
So we don't have to face him in 2 weeks. Can you wait till we?
You're thinking from that standpoint.
Can you wait till he goes away?
It's funny. What's funny is 3 of the 4 teams that are being linked to Devontae Adams affect me and Jared, because Devontae Adams plays for the team that I'm getting ready to see in a week, and Jared, and the Jets are a team that's being linked to trade for him, and he sees them in 2 weeks.
We'll see what happens. I would love Devontae on the team. Well, listen, there's no way he's listening. But listen, Justin Fields is the future. You're still in your mid-30s, right? Or 31, right? I think he's 31 years old.
Yeah.
You're still in your prime. But imagine, Justin Fields throwing you the ball. You got George Pickens on the other side. You're gonna be one-on-one sometimes too. So one of you is gonna be, I don't know who. You're gonna get the ball. I'll tell you that much. He's gonna get the ball.
Oh yeah, you're gonna get the ball, and not only if you go to the Jets because you want to play with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah,
if we're being real,
how long does Aaron Rodgers have? Come on, Devontae. Be honest.
He's not LeBron.
Yeah, but it's 2 years maybe. I give him 2 to 3 at most.
I was gonna say, I think 3's pushing. I think 3 is pushing.
That's what I'm saying. Unless you're going to retire in 2 to 3 years, Devontae, then I get it. I doubt it. You're still at a high, playing at a high level at age 30, 31 is pretty good.
Here's another question, and I'm going to caveat this to another team, because in a way, yes, it'll affect the Steelers, but not for us trading him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be curious to see what happens with Amari Cooper.
Mm-hmm.
Because he has 1 year left on his deal. He's getting a tiny bit up there. I highly doubt Cleveland's going to re-sign him. I'm going to be curious to see if there's a team that says, all right, we didn't get Devontae Adams. maybe we could at least try and get someone like Amari Cooper to push for a title run.
Am I going to push that agenda next?
Well, no, because I've never been the big, like, don't get me wrong, Amari Cooper is good. I've never been the biggest fan of Amari Cooper.
I hear you.
Like, this goes back to the Oakland days.
Oakland days, yep, that's right.
Like, I don't know what it like, and it's not like nothing that he's ever done or anything like that. Like, it's never been anything like that. I don't know why. I've never been like the biggest fan of him. And don't get me wrong, he is a good receiver.
But great.
I'm curious to see how that's going to look, because we already know that. Like, it was funny to me that Kansas City kept on getting brought up in a Devontae Adams trade. I'm like, why?
No way.
Like, they're not trading Devontae Adams to the
division
within division. That's just not happening. So it makes me wonder if someone like Kansas City would be willing to do that, especially with more than likely that Rashee Rice is going to be out. So they need someone outside, to go with their guys. So maybe that would be a team that would, which I mean, in a way would affect us, because I mean, we play the Chiefs on Christmas. Yep. So in that situation, it's like, all right, well, we play Amari Cooper once versus twice.
So we're going against right now? What, David Worthy, Juju Smith-Schuster on the team? Who else is in it?
You know what? Now that I'm thinking about that,
oh
wait, never mind. Juju did Juju play in the game last year against the Patriots on Thursday night?
Great question. I don't think so. I think he was hurt. I'm not confident.
I have to look this up now, because this is going to bother me, because Steelers, Patriots, 2023. He did. He was their leading receiver, 4 catches, 90 yards.
Oh, well. Great.
Okay, well, then that kind of kills off what I was getting ready to say about him. Well, no, and all I was going to say about him is I wonder how that reaction's going to be.
Yeah.
Him coming back playing in Pittsburgh, but I forgot. Well, he played last year.
Yep.
God, that game still pisses me off.
Anyways, other than that, if somehow Omar makes this trade happen, the Steelers on offense at least have a good receiving room, a decent receiving room.
And on top of that, if you want to look at it from this standpoint, he's going to open things up a little bit in the run game also.
Yep. Oh, yep. Listen, like I said, we need another receiver. That's all I see. And I hope Roman Wilson plays Sunday night. I would love to see him play. Would love to see him play, get some action. Please. I'm asking. We drafted him, not just be sitting.
You know what's one thing that I'm looking at this right now, looking at total yards per game. I love that I don't immediately have to scroll all the way to the bottom.
Yeah,
we're not right now. It's in terms of total yards per game, we have a better offense than Buffalo.
Wow, surprising.
That makes me happy. I'm kind of doing this old school. And we're live. How you doing, Mama Sanchez?
I thought she said hello. She was listening to something. But other than that, you said it was higher than Buffalo.
We're 17th right now in total yards.
Oh, okay.
Which, you know what? Now, passing, we're in the 20s still, but hey, we're not dead last. We're not.
We'll get there.
You know what though? We're seeing improvement. We're seeing.
I think Arthur Smith just needs to open it up a lot more sooner rather than later. Maybe is what I'm thinking. Because, like you said, we always start out slow, which I hate. Everyone hates seeing. First half, we had 3 points, right? First half of the Colts game was 3.
Yeah, because You know what's ironic is I had a tweet in the drafts that I was getting ready to hit before we hit the field goal was that the last time that we got shut out in the first half was against Cleveland last year in Cleveland, the game that we lost 13-10 or something like that. The last game of Matt Canada as an offensive coordinator.
So,
but luckily I didn't have to post that.
Which is good. No, like I said, the offense just needs to open it up. Let Justin throw the ball. Let him rip it. Keep doing the boot.
Yeah,
gotta let him rip it.
Yeah, especially early on in games or early on in downs, I'd like to see them.
I understand running the football, but if it's not working, it's got to change.
Yeah, if that dog ain't hunting, brother, you got to switch it up.
You got to switch it.
It's like me in golf. If I'm hitting my driver and it's just slicing so hard all day, maybe that dog ain't hunting. Maybe I need to put that in the bag, and maybe I need to pull out my hybrid, or I need to pull out an iron, and do something different. I always find ways to bring golf involved.
Yeah, always.
Hi, my name is Jeff, and I am addicted to golf.
I know. 100%
Oh,
no.
Jared witnessed that. Jared witnessed that in person. Because I was trying my absolute hardest to find any way to golf out there when we were together, but we did it. That's all good.
But other than that, Steelers on Sunday night, prime time.
First time the Steelers and Cowboys have played on Sunday Night Football against each other, which is very surprising.
First time, ever?
Yes, first time ever that the Steelers and Cowboys have played on Sunday Night Football.
Wow.
Against each other.
Yeah, I guess Fox really take the 4:00 games. I think that's. I wouldn't be surprised in the past. I remember.
You got to think Cowboys get a decent amount of Sunday Night Football games too.
Yep.
It's surprising. I mean, it's not surprising considering the fact that we only play them every 4 years.
Yep.
But you would think that now if you look back at it, 2020. I could understand it because the Steelers weren't that great.
Mm-hmm.
And I could maybe see they thought that the Steelers weren't going to be that great in 2020. 2016.
Listen, right now, it's a primetime Sunday night, and you got no more 1:00 games for a little bit. It's a lot of got a Sunday night 4:00 against the Raiders the following, then another Sunday night against the Jets, and then Monday night against the Giants.
Oh,
a lot of prime time, which is I'm fine with it.
Which is good for me too, considering that I am a non NFL Sunday ticket.
Yeah, for you, yeah, owner. Definitely.
It works for me because I don't have to worry about
not being on TV, going out,
and having to go somewhere to watch the game. I will either be watching it from home or for one game be there.
Yeah. But other than that, the Steelers should take care of business this Sunday night. Gotta get ready. CeeDee Lamb, got to worry about him pretty much. Other than that, their O-line's not. I don't think it's not their strength anymore.
It's gonna be curious to see how they handle with Alex Highsmith being out. They're looking at a potential October 20th return for him. So there's potential for. You're going to see Nick Herbig.
Yep.
And the one thing too that was annoying is the fact they were running his way all day.
Yeah. They did not want to go TJ Watt's way.
Well, I don't think it's necessarily that. They looked at it as Alex Highsmith, who was the guy who could play the run pretty damn well.
Mm-hmm.
He's not out there. So you just have pretty much, in reality, what probably would be like a situational pass rusher. And Nick Herbig, he's good. We like him at all, but he's in terms of the run game, that's just that's not his forte.
Yep. 100%. Maybe Leal's better at the run. I don't know who's better at the run, either him or Herbig. They'd probably leave Herbig out there if I had to get.
Yeah, you got to deal. I'm going to be watching how do they handle that, and seeing a lot of Patrick Queen talk. on X earlier this week. I've seen a lot of it.
What was it? Good talk, bad talk? I was not paying
Not
attention.
great talk. Not great for your best friend.
Oh, okay. Oh man, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's one guy that I've seen lots of great talk on has been Deshaun Elliott,
Yeah, I've been hearing a lot of good talk about Deshaun Elliott. I know that for sure.
which very well deserved, very well. And the one thing too that I noticed too about that game on Sunday was the fact that they were targeting JPJ a lot.
Yep. Hey, listen. Yeah,
Hey, that first play, he almost got that pick. Oh man, if you want to talk about a start, if he would have been able to get a pick on the
yep.
very first play from scrimmage, oh Lord.
Yeah, they had a couple chances of getting the football. Well, they missed it. I know PQ missed it on the little on the ground. It is what it happens.
Tell your best friend that he needs to hit the jugs machine.
Oh, okay. Well, that's why they play defense, right? But other than that, like I said, they had a couple chances. JPJ almost had one. It's just, it is what it is. They got to create turnovers too. I think it's the first game they didn't create a turnover.
Yep.
So that does not look good. Not look good at all.
Not at all.
Defense just has to be a lot better. A lot better. I want to see Minka. You know what? Minka will get an interception on Sunday. I'm going to say it right now. That's my bold prediction. INT Minka Fitzpatrick. His name has not been called out a lot, which is, I understand Minka's a roamer out there with Elliott now next to him. So I think he gets one on Sunday night against Dak.
I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna mess with you. I'm gonna say right now. I'm gonna tweet out. Actually,
oh boy. I think his internet cut out. Oh, Jeff. Technical difficulties. Oh boy. Hopefully to get Jeff back in here. Trying to see what to do.